With a worrisome outbreak of bird flu making headlines almost daily, Martha Teichner tells us what it all means and what might come next.
There are 7 generations of Corwins in the Aquabog, Long Island town cemetery. Their graves overlook the farm that's been in the family since the 1640s.
Whose idea was it to put the ducks on the tombstone?
I'm going to say it was my grandfather's idea, because he did it first.
It was Doug Corwin's great-grandfather who started raising ducks in 1908, when Long Island was famous for its duck farms. Now, Crescent Duck Farm is the only one left. It produced 1 million ducks a year until 2 weeks ago, when bird flu shut the farm down.
Dozens of state and federal agricultural workers dressed in biohazard suits, sanitized boots, and gloves are assisting in the euthanization of the entire flock here, 100,000 ducks.
I saw a flock one day that was great, and the next day was lethargic, wasn't eating. And it looked like something I'd never seen.
Whether it's ducks or chickens, since the current strain of bird flu, H5N1, reached the United States in 2022, over 148 million birds have been euthanized.
It's a staggering number, there's no doubt, but it is and always has been a policy across administrations with the USDA that this is how they handle infections like this among poultry.
Jody Guest is a professor of epidemiology with Emory University's Rollins School of Public Health in Atlanta.
And as we've seen bird flu move species, it becomes even more important to try to contain that infection in the flocks that it's in so that we don't continue to see spread.
Except that's exactly what has happened.
It actually was in all 50 states by the end of 2023.
Transmitted by wild birds through their feces and saliva.
So in 2024, we saw bird flu jump from our poultry and wild birds to mammals, to cows. And that was a very startling change.
Until 2024, there was only 1 human case in the United States. In just a few months, the number jumped to 67 with 1 death. Most of those cases, workers at dairy operations and poultry farms. They experienced mild symptoms.
So far, we've not seen human-to-human transmission, and that would have to happen in order for us to be on the verge of an epidemic or a pandemic.
How scared are you of this?
I'm not scared. I feel very strongly that human risk is still very, very low.
How do we stop it?
We stop it by knowing where it is and then culling those herds and preventing its spread.
But the spread of H5N1 is not being contained. And look at what culling has already done to the price and availability of eggs.
According to the CBS News price tracker, a dozen eggs on average costs $4.15 today, compared to $2.51 just a year ago.
The issue has become politicized.
The Biden administration and the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens, which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore a lack of egg supply, which is leading to the shortage.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt last week. In fact, the first Trump administration followed the same policy.
I think a vaccine program's the only thing that's going to get us out of this.
The proposal is controversial. Allow poultry farmers to vaccinate their birds against H5N1, something theoretically doable, but currently forbidden, because it would cripple U.S. poultry exports to the many countries which ban vaccinated birds.
The disease is becoming much bigger than the export situation, because the disease is so getting out of hand right now.
This is as far as we can go because of the quarantine.
Because of the quarantine, that's correct.
Doug Corwin can't decide which is worse, losing 100,000 ducks or having to lay off 48 people. You seem ambivalent about whether or not you even want to try again.
Martha, think about what I've been through over the last 2 weeks. It's devastating, utterly devastating. It reminds me of losing both of my parents. You know, that sudden, that grief is that feeling that like you've lost something that's part of you.